students currently. We have Akib, Abhishek, Anshuman, Anukriti, Ayushi, Bharti, Deepak Kumar, Harsh, Jyoti, Mahima, Kashif Ali, Pushpender, Riya, Sandeep, Shivam Rai, Kaushik, Saheb, Shreya, Shruti, Srusti, Tripti. Tongue twisting. Okay. And we have Parallel also. Okay, Parul and Varun also joined in the class. Um, okay, I will give 5 more minutes relaxation. Okay, within 5 minutes we can start the class. And today's class will be little bit depth, and you need to get ready for that. Meanwhile, I will share my screen so you will know what I'm doing here. Um, I will share my screen. This is not PowerPoint. This is my entire screen. Okay. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the material actually. I hope you can see the screen here. We can start class within 5 minutes. I think Aman is stressed out. Hmm. I can understand actually you have three classes without gap. So I know you're getting so much data into your brain and they become hot. Everything is core subjects. Yes, it will be somewhat tough for you to keep everything in your mind. I know that. Hmm. Let me take. Actually, I'm providing my written my written notes, but uh, you can use this as a reference. Okay, already this material is there in the textbooks. I have shared in textbooks also, but I have concised the material. So I have given nice tables. So with these tables, you can study a huge amount of data in a short space. That's the advantage of tables. Mm, I think today we will try to finish epithelial tissue if possible. I don't know whether we can finish it or not, but I will try. Types of epithelial tissue, then what is this? Um, Squamous, cuboidal, columnar, translational, ciliated, then what is this? Based on shape, got it. Hmm. 4 more minutes. Within 4 minutes, we can start the class. Meanwhile, you can see what I'm doing here. This time you will have some heavy syllabus students, but it will be interesting. Okay, even though syllabus looks heavy, but topic will be interesting. What is this? Okay. Mhm. And in time is 11:37. We can wait for 2 more minutes and we can start the class. Let me see how many there currently. So currently we have 38 students. Great. I think I'm getting call from. Hello, yes. Very good morning, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hmm. Hmm. Um, just a second, ma'am. Let me mute first. Actually, I'm in the class. I know I'm wasting your precious time, students. One more minute, okay? So within 1 minute we can start the class. Just the ciliated epithelium. Okay. Mm, 1 minute. Then we can start. What is this pseudo transitional epithelium? Okay. Stratified, keratinized, non-keratinized. Wow. We can. There are two ways of taking a class. One is straightforward, only bullet points, and second one is in depth. So I was just thinking in what way I need to proceed with you. I think you are no more first semester, so I will go with the depth only. You will know everything in the subject, so I won't compromise in my side regarding the subject. Um, just a second. Yes, we finished with this part. Let me close it. Mm, then I will share the PowerPoint with you. I hope 41 students are online, and I think everyone is ready for the class. Can I continue my class, students, now? Shall we proceed with
Yes,
environment
sir.
physiology?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
That's the spirit I want. Okay, good. Um, yeah. So just let me know if you see the so-called PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint now? Is it visible to you, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Very good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. That's why I like first years. Highly attentive. Good. Okay. So, so get ready with your notes and pen, and we can start the class. And as you know, that the subject code is BMLS 2004, which is anatomy and physiology, and we are in the unit one. So I'm not going to the previous stories. As you know, that the anatomy is the study of the structure of the body, both internal and external, and physiology means it is the study of the function of the organs of our body. So combinedly, it is anatomy and physiology. We are studying the structure, and also we are studying the functions of the organs present in the human body. And there is a huge contributor in this field who is none other than our Leonardo da Vinci, who has given the best pictorial representations of human body, as I stated. So Leonardo has done a marvelous job in understanding the human body. Then, um, then we came to the program structure. So here you have four important core subjects and four practicals. So the four core subjects include microbiology, hematology, clinical biochemistry, and the anatomy and physiology. So I have already given the faculty in judges everything. So you know your structure, you know your second semester, and you know everything. I hope there is no confusions regarding any of your course materials. And we are updating you the material also once after finishing the class. So if you face any problems regarding any subject, in a sense of not getting notes or in a sense of you're unable to understand, kindly let me know and I will take care of it. As you know that I'm the in charge of quality circle of our department. If you have any problems, you can approach me and I will rectify it. When I say problems, that doesn't mean a huge problems. Might be sometimes you won't get notes, simple issues. So academically, if you have any problems, you can share with me and I will take care of it. I will speak with the faculties and I will provide you the best for you. Okay. So that is my humble suggestion for you. Then coming to the syllabus. So this is the syllabus of anatomy and physiology. In the first, totally we have 6 units. In the first unit, we have the basics such as introduction to physiology and anatomy and the cells, types of tissues and blood components. And in the unit 2, we have skeletal system, respiratory system, cardiovascular system. In the unit 3, we have, I think it is about the lymphatic system and just a second, my laptop struck. Hmm. Okay. So in the unit in the unit 3 we have lymphatic system and sense organs, whereas in the I think the PowerPoint has been stopped. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm really sorry about this. Sure.
थोड़ा पा देते हैं.
Hmm. Just a second, I'm sharing, I'm opening that PowerPoint. These are the pros and cons of online classes. Whatever material I have prepared, I lost it. How can I recover the document? Just a second. Perfect. I lost my material. It's okay. Hmm. Okay, can you see the students? Can you see the PowerPoint now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
The technical glitches. Anyway, I'm coming directly to the point, students. Let us start with Unit 1. Okay, Unit 1, what we have, let us see. So in the Unit 1, we have Introduction to Human Anatomy and Physiology, cell organelles, structure and classification of cells, function and cell division such as mitosis, meiosis, and we have tissues definition. Kindly mute yourself, okay? So we have tissues, definition, classification, and we have different types of tissues like epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular and nervous tissue. Then we have blood. So these are the major topics in Unit 1. I will start with the cells, cell organelles, and cell organelle functions, and I will start with the definition of tissue, and I will start with one particular tissue, which is epithelial tissue. So in today's lecture, I will try to finish three topics. Okay, I will try to discuss about cell and cell organelles, and I will start the definition of tissues and epithelial tissue. So these three topics I will try to finish in today's lecture. Okay, so without any things, I will start the class. So this is it. Okay, so before discussing about the cells, I will discuss something about the organization of life. How the system has been organized, how the cells has been organized in our body. So as you know that each and everything in our body is composed of cells. They are made up of cells. So cells are like the basic fundamental unit of life. You can feel a cell like a brick in a wall. So here the cell will act as a brick. Okay, now a group of cells will make a tissue, or a group of bricks will make a wall. A group of bricks will make a wall, whereas here in our body a group of cells will make a tissue. Okay, now a group of tissues will make an organ, or else a group of walls, some four walls will make a room. So that can be stated as an organ. A group of tissues will make an organ. Then a group of organs will make a system, and a group of systems will make an organism, a living organism. So this is how the life has been organized. So first we have the basic simplest form or the fundamental unit, which is the cell. A group of cells will make a group of tissues, a group of tissues will make an organ, a group of organs will make an organ system, and ultimately it will form a organism. Now, if possible, can anyone give you some examples of this hierarchy of this organization? Can you tell some names of cells, students? What type of cells we have in our body? Can you tell the names of different types of cells in our body?
Epithelial cells.
Epithelial cells, very good.
Muscular.
Muscular cells, myocytes. Very good. So you said epithelial cells, muscular cells, cardiocytes, that means
Yes, sir.
cardiac
Cardio
cells,
cells.
nervous cells. Then we have blood cells, white blood cells, splenic cells, liver cells. So we have many types of
Okay,
cells.
sir.
Very good. So let us try to stick with one type of cell here. Okay, I will tell a very simple cell. Maybe we can focus on
Some myocytes.
myocyte. Okay, myocyte. So myocyte means these are the cells present in the heart. Now a group of myocytes will make a cardiac tissue. Okay, as I said, myocyte present in the heart. These heart is composed of cells called myocytes. A group of myocytes, a group of cardiac cells will make a tissue. Is that clear? A group of cells will make a
Yes, sir.
tissue. Now a group of tissues will make an organ. When I said a group of tissues in the heart not only consists of cardiac cells, but heart will also have connective tissue, Heart will also have tendons. Tendons is another type of tissue. Heart will
Yes,
also
sir.
have a type of epithelial tissue, the outer covering of the heart. So
Yes, sir.
heart is a combination of different tissues. Obviously, the first tissue will be the cardiac tissue. Then it will have connective tissue. It will have epithelial tissue. It will have tendons. So a group of tissues will make an organ. Here the organ is heart. Okay, so a group of tissues will make an organ. Now a group of organs will make a system. In case of system here, along with the heart, the blood vessels, arteries and veins, they are together stitched as a system. Heart is composed of arteries and vein. So this entire together, the arteries, veins and heart together can be stated as a system. It can be stated as a cardiovascular system. Cardio, heart with
Yes, sir.
vascular, blood vessel system. So it will make a system. And a group of systems will make a organism. Here we have cardiovascular system, nervous system, musculoskeletal system, reproductive system, digestive system, excretory system, integumentary system, endocrine system, exocrine system. So a group of systems will make an entire organism. So this is how the cells are, this is how we are organized. The life has been organized. So the organization will start with a simple thing, which is cell. A group of cells will make a tissue. A group of tissues will make an organ. A group of organs will make an organ system. Ultimately, it will result in a production of an organism. So this is the organization of life. I hope this is clear for everyone. Can I move forward,
Yes, sir.
students? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, very good. Now I will discuss a brief history. Okay, a very interesting story. I can say. Let me check the time. 11:51. Okay, I have 40 minutes more. Fine. Okay, now I will tell you about how cells evolved, how we got cells in the planet Earth. Okay, believe it or not, students, in the beginning, in the starting days, when I say starting days, 3.8 billion years ago. Okay, at that time, cells are at their simplest form. Those cells are called as prokaryotic cells. That means they are very simple cells. These prokaryotic cells, through time, through day by day, these prokaryotic cells become complicated. They become day by day, they are becoming complex. The complexity of the cell has been increasing day by day. When I say day by day, it is not day by day, it is years, millions of years actually. So I will tell the story of evolution first. So after evolution, then I will discuss about the differences between two types of cells. So there are broadly cells are of two types, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So we are composed of eukaryotic cells, and our pre-ancestors are prokaryotic cells. So I will tell about the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell with a nice story of evolution. So see this beautiful animation, students. So in this animation, first you can see a small cells. So these cells are evolving actually. So first there is a single cell. That single cell become multiple cell, and that multiple cell become a pre-organism, and it is evolving. So we got annelids, we got fishes, then we got lizards, then we got some marsupials like monkeys, then we got humans. So yes, cells took a very long journey, a journey of 3.8 billion years to become as complicated as they are looking today. So it's a very long journey, and it's a very long story to discuss about cells. So day by day, the cells became complicated, and that given rise to these beautiful animals that we are seeing around us. So yes, it's all started with a simple cell in the beginning. So in the beginning, there is cells, and those cells has been evolved into different types of animals. And the story of cell is really a wonderful story of evolution. So this is a slow form of the same animation. So a group of cells become multiple cells, then they become different types of tissues, and they become early life. So there are only amoeba like that. Then the life becoming complicated day by day. Then we got some sea creatures. Then we got starfishes. Then slowly these sea creatures are evolving. And at one particular point, we got fishes in the ocean. Then the fishes has been evolved. There are several sub branches of fishes, and one of the fish came to know how to live on a land, and they become the reptiles. And some of the reptiles become aves, birds, and some of the big reptiles become mammals. That means they started giving milk to their babies, and one of those mammals became the ancestors of monkeys, and one of the monkey became us. And today we are discussing about our own story in this modern technology. So this all started with the primitive cells. So yeah, that is what I want to share. So cells are of two types, students. We have single cells and we have multiple cells. So in the beginning, in the evolution, the life is very simple. Kindly mute yourself. Let me mute you all. I'm not getting that mute option. Anyway, so yeah. So my point is, students, in the beginning we have simple cells, and those cells only know how to live themselves. They are only single cell. A single cell will do all the job. Okay, it will do respiration, it will do reproduction, everything. But through time, these single cells became complicated and they started becoming multiple cells. They started understanding each other. They started symbiotic relationship between them, and those cells became they became attached and they became eukaryotic cells. So the major difference between a prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell is prokaryotic cell is simple cell, whereas eukaryotic cell is complicated cell. Prokaryotic cell don't have proper cell organelles, whereas eukaryotic cell has cell organelles, and eukaryotic cells are capable of becoming multicellular organisms, whereas prokaryotic cells, they will always will be in single cell organisms such as bacteria, some parasites, protists. Okay, so yeah. Now, this single, the beauty of eukaryotic cell is eukaryotic cell can multiply. It can become various forms. It can become various tissues. It can become various organs. It can become a beautiful life. In a matter of 9 months, a single cell, a single eukaryotic cell will become a beautiful life. It can be an elephant. It can be a human. It can be a butterfly. Butterflies also eukaryotes. Yeah. So yes, so this is the beauty of eukaryotic cells, and all animals, all visible animals will have eukaryotic cells. It's a simple statement. All visible animals with our naked eye are eukaryotic animals, including plants, whereas the organisms that we need to see under the microscope, the microscopic organisms are prokaryotic organisms. Okay, so bacteria, parasites, they most of the parasites are eukaryotes actually. More bacteria is prokaryote, whereas other than bacteria, all others are eukaryotic in nature. We all have eukaryotic cells in our body. Okay, so the formation of human baby is also a wonderful story. Anyway, now I'm not going to discuss about human embryology, but this is how the story goes. So first you will have a single cell. This single cell will divide and it will make a primitive tissues in the body, and these tissues will further they will make different types of tissues. And believe it or not, the first tissue that a developing baby produced during its lifetime is placenta actually. So placenta is the first formed tissue in the development of a baby, and after placenta only the second stage of growth of baby will occur. Okay, yeah, yes. So now I will tell about the different types of cells we have in our body. I think you have already given the answer. So all our cells are eukaryotic cells, and we have different types of cells like muscle cells, blood cells, nervous cells, cardiac cells, liver cells, intestinal cells. Okay, so these are the different types of cells we have in our body, and we have different types of tissues also. So I will discuss about tissues later. So anyway, so combination of these cells, combination of these tissues will result in this beautiful life. So it is really wonderful to see the evolution of cell or the growth of cell into a beautiful creatures like this. So in a matter of 20 days, an egg will become into a beautiful life. It can be a beautiful turtle also like this. So now we are going to discuss about that story, that hidden story of cells, how these cells are forming into this beautiful life, how they are becoming this beautiful beak, beautiful eyes, beautiful legs. So that story we are going to discuss. So yeah, my first topic. So far I have discussed about the introduction of cells and their evolution. So now I will discuss the actual topic, which is the differences between the eukaryotic cell and the prokaryotic cell. So as I stated, prokaryotic cell is the simplest cell, whereas the eukaryotic cell is a complicated cell. And we all have the eukaryotic cells in our body. Are you listening to me, students?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Perfect. So
Yes.
hereafter,
Yes, sir.
please start taking notes. Okay. So now, in order to know the differences between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, you all need to know is Dora. I hope you know this animation. This is a Dora Explorer. So
Yes, sir.
these are
Coding.
the four differences. Okay. So DORA. So D means DNA, organelles, reproduction, and average size of the cell. So coming to the DNA of prokaryotic cells will have a naked DNA. That means their DNA was exposed in the cell, and they won't be proper protection to the prokaryotic cell. As I said, prokaryotes are the simple cells. They will have the naked DNA, whereas eukaryotic DNA will be bounded within the nucleus. Eukaryotic cell DNA will be within the nucleus, whereas in prokaryote the DNA is circular in nature, whereas in our eukaryotes the DNA is in linear in nature. The DNA is in a form of chromosomes, whereas in the prokaryotes the DNA is in circular form. And there is something called introns, students, in the DNA. Introns and exons. Introns and exons means there are spaces in between DNA, and those spaces are called as introns. Or there is a how can I tell? Okay, in a flower necklace, you will have the flowers and you will have the thread. Thread don't have any value, but flowers will have the value. So those spaces, those thread spaces present in the eukaryotic cell, eukaryotic DNA, but those introns are not present in prokaryotic DNA. So that is the major difference. So in the DNA, you need to know these three: naked DNA, circular DNA, and no absence of introns in prokaryotes. Whereas in eukaryotes, the nucleus is bound with the DNA is bound within the nucleus. The DNA is linear and DNA has introns actually. So this is all about DNA. Then organelles. There is no organelles for prokaryotes. Keep in mind, there is no cell organelles for prokaryotic cells, but eukaryotes will have organelles. So prokaryotes don't have nucleus, whereas eukaryotes will have nucleus, and no nuclear membrane. Nucleus won't have any membrane, but organelles will have membranes in the eukaryotes. Okay. Then we have two types of ribosomes, students: 70S ribosomes and 80S ribosomes. Usually the 70S ribosomes present in prokaryotes, whereas 80S ribosomes present in the eukaryotes. The role of ribosomes is production of proteins. I can say like this: 70S ribosomes are like a Nokia phone, whereas 80S ribosomes are like a smartphones. Okay, so these 80S ribosomes can make a wide variety of proteins, whereas 70S ribosomes will make very limited amount of proteins. So in that way you can memorize this. Okay, so in case of organelles, no organelles in prokaryotes, but organelles present in the eukaryotes. Organelles bound to the membrane, whereas organelles are not even bound to any membrane. And here in prokaryotes we have 70S ribosomes, whereas in the eukaryotes we have 80S ribosomes. Then coming to the reproduction. So reproduction in prokaryotes will happen by binary fusion. That means there won't be any sex in the prokaryotes. A single cell, for example, a paramecium. A single paramecium is a prokaryote actually. So this paramecium will split into two parameciums by a phenomenon called binary fusion. So they will reproduce by binary fusion in prokaryotes, whereas in the eukaryotes we have two types of reproduction. We have mitosis and we have meiosis. With mitosis and meiosis, the cells will reproduce. Mitosis will happen in the vegetative cells of our body, whereas meiosis will happen only in the reproductive cells of our body. So meiosis will happen in the sperms and in the ovum, whereas mitosis will happen in all other cells in our body. That is the major difference. Okay. So reproduction, eukaryotic cells will perform mitosis and meiosis, whereas in prokaryotes, the reproduction will happen by binary fusion. Then coming to the chromosome, only single chromosome will present in prokaryotes, whereas in eukaryotes, they will have multiple chromosomes. I hope you know how many chromosomes a human will have. How many chromosomes humans will
53
have?
pairs.
So
50 pairs.
22 plus 1 chromosome.
22 plus 1,
22 plus
23
1.
pairs. Okay.
23 pairs, sir.
Yes, yes, 23 pairs. Very good. So 22 plus 1 also correct only.
23 pairs.
46 chromosomes we have, or 23 pairs. Among the 23 pairs, 22 or 44 are autosomes, whereas 2 are allosomes. Allosomes means
Allosomes.
reproductive chromosomes, which are
Chromosomes.
X and Y. If you have two X's, it will be a female. If you have X and Y, it will be a male.
Male.
Very good. So multiple chromosomes present in eukaryotes, whereas single chromosome present in prokaryotic cells. Then coming to the average size, I need not to say much about size. As I said, prokaryotes are basic cells. Their size will be lesser than 5 micrometers, whereas eukaryotic cells are the larger cells. Their size will be almost up to 100 micrometers. So these are the major differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Is it clear, students? Is this topic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So this is the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So what type of cells we have in our body? Eukaryotic cells or prokaryotic cells?
Eukaryotic.
Hmm?
Eukaryotic, sir.
Eukaryotic cells. Very good. How our cells will reproduce? Either by binary fusion or by mitosis and meiosis.
Mitosis and meiosis.
Mitosis.
Mitosis and meiosis. Okay.
Actually, meiosis.
Yes. And what type of reproduction
Meiosis.
happens in our sperms or ovum, in our reproductive cells? What type of reproduction will happen?
What
Meiosis.
Meiosis. Very good.
type? Oh, meiosis.
Very good. What type of reproduction will happen in my skin cells?
So mitosis.
Mitosis. Very good.
Mitosis.
Mitosis,
Very
sir.
good. Yeah, very good. And do we have cell organelles in our cells?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Seriously?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Then
Meiosis.
what type of ribosomes our cells will have? Is it
ATS.
ATS ribosomes? Very good. And what will be the average size of our cells?
10 to 100 micrometer.
Very good. 10 to 100 micrometers. Now I will ask you a nice question. Can anyone say the largest cell in human body? What is the largest cell?
Zygote.
Zygote.
Oh,
What?
in human body, no,
Zygote,
sir. So skin.
Very good. You came nearby actually. Yeah, zygote is a combination of two cell, students. Zygote is not a single cell. It is a tissue, we can say, because it is a combination of sperm and ovum. So the largest cell in our human body is ovum actually.
Neuron.
Ovum.
Ovum is not present in males, no, sir.
Ovum
It's
not
called the
present.
human body.
I said human body. I didn't say males or females. Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
there is an exception, sir.
Actually, that is what the textbooks will say. But someone said about a neuron also. Yeah, that is really confusing term for me because there are certain neurons with axon length of 2 to 3 meters along in the spinal cord. But in the textbooks, they will say it is the ovum which is the largest cell rather than a neuron. Yeah, even I too confused now. According to textbook, it is ovum, but I'm suspecting neuron also. Anyway, you are engaged in the class. That is what I want, and I was happy regarding that. So I hope you got a clear understanding about the differences between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now I'm going to the next class.
Yes,
The next
sir.
topic. Yeah. So the next topic is, let us discuss in detail about the structure of a eukaryotic cell. What is the structure of eukaryotic cell? What is the organelles present in the eukaryotic cell? And what are the functions of those organelles present in a eukaryotic cell? So let us move to the next thing, which is the cell, the eukaryotic cell. So there is a basic definition of cell. So cells are the basic or functional units of our body. They are the fundamental units, and all organs started with a cell. Okay, so cells are the basic fundamental unit of our body. So we have different types of cells in our body. We have sperm cells, kidney cells, liver cells, bone cells, lung cells. Each and every organ is made up of its own unique cell, students. I need not to say much about that. Okay, and a group of cells will make a tissue. A group of tissues will make an organ. A group of organs will make an organ system. A group of organ systems will make a life. So it's all started with a cell. So now let us see a structure of a eukaryotic cell. So this is the structure of a eukaryotic cell. Since I said that a eukaryotic cell has cell organelles, so we have different types of cell organelles in the cell. So let us see what are the organelles and what are their functions. So basically, Um, I know this picture is somewhat complicated, but this is the simplest picture I got in online, because we have even more organelles in our cell. Anyway, let us see the organelles and the structure of a human cell. So first we have two portions mainly. So the cell will have two important portions. One is the nucleus and second one is the cytoplasm. The fluid portion of the cell is called as cytoplasm, whereas the central nucleus, it is called nucleus. Okay, in the nucleus we will have the DNA. So in the nucleus we have the DNA. Now this nucleus has a double membrane. You need to remember that nucleus is made up of double membrane. Within this double membrane, it will have a nucleoli. Within this nucleoli only, you will have the chromosomes. Within nucleoli, we will have the chromosomes. Chromosomes will have contains the DNA. So this is the structure of a nucleus. So nucleus is composed of a double membrane structure. It contains a central core which is called nucleolus. Within the nucleolus, we will have the chromosomes. In the chromosomes, we will have the DNA. Now, this nucleus, this double membrane, this outer double membrane will have a pores. It will have holes. Okay, this nuclear membrane will have holes, and those holes are called as nuclear pores. Those holes are called as nuclear pores. And what is the significance of these pores? Why do nucleus has the pores in it? Because for transfer of RNA, for transfer of RNA in between the nucleus and the cytoplasm, we have these nuclear pores. So a bit of DNA in a form of RNA, okay, a bit of DNA is called as RNA, a single strand. That RNA will move inside the nucleus to outside the cell by these pores. That is the significance of nuclear pores. So these are the parts of the nucleus. Nucleus will have a double membrane. It has a nucleoli. Within the nucleoli, it will have chromosomes. Chromosomes contains the DNA, and this nucleus have something called the pores. Now, chromosomes, they say something called chromatin material. Chromatin material is a starch material for chromosome, students. Within the nucleus, you will have a chromatin material. This chromatin material will condense into the 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes. So this is all about the nucleus. Are you following me? Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Perfect. Now coming to the cytoplasm. So the other than nucleus, cell will have the cytoplasm. Okay. Now this cytoplasm is embedded within a layer, and that layer is called as plasma membrane or cell membrane. Within this cell membrane only this cytoplasm will present. So the outer membrane is called as the plasma membrane or cell membrane. Within this cell membrane, it will have the cytoplasm. Now, I want to emphasize an important thing in the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is not like a fluid as you are thinking. Till now, you thought that cytoplasm is like a fevicol. It is like a fluid, a jelly portion. No, in the cytoplasm, it has a skeletal network. Yes, cell has a skeletal network. Cell has a mesh network. And that network is called as microfilaments.
Cytoskeleton.
Yes, cytoskeleton or microfilaments. This cytoplasm has a network of filaments, and those filaments are called as microfilaments. Or I will tell like that. I will tell like this. This cytoplasm has a invisible sari. You know, a cloth, a sari. Okay. So that sari is called as filament. Sari is composed of small threads. A group of threads will make a sari, and those threads are called as microfilaments. Now in this sari, now we will keep beautiful stones to the sari to make it beautiful, right? Those stones are embedded to the sari. Similarly, the cell organelles are embedded to these microfilaments of the cytoplasm. All cell organelles are stitched to this microfilament. This microfilament will act like a cytoskeleton. It will act like the skeleton to the cell. These microfilaments will give the shape to the cell. We have different types of shapes to the cells. We have cuboidal, squamous, oval. So we have different types of shapes. Those cell shape was given by this microfilament. So microfilaments will give shape to the cell, And also microfilaments will enhance for the attachment of cell organelles to the microfilament in the cytoplasm of a cell. So that is the significance of microfilaments. Now, the next important cell organelle will be, I used to feel that a cell is like a toy, a cell phone. Okay, cell phone must require a battery to operate, right? Similarly, even a cell require a battery to operate. Cell require energy for its day-to-day activities. So, who will provide the energy to the cell, or what is the battery to the
Sir,
cell?
mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Very good. It is the mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria is like a battery to the cell. Mitochondria will provide energy to the cell. That is why mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell.
Powerhouse of
Yes. Mitochondria will give power to the cell in a form of ATP. So mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So now you know two organelles. First I discussed about microfilaments, which will give the structure to the cell. Then we discussed about mitochondria, which will give energy to the cell. Now the third important thing is how cell will get energy. Will it get, is it a god to get energy from the air? No. Cell will get energy by the food we take. We will take diet, we will take carbohydrates. Then by this food only, the cell will get energy, right? Now, how the cell will capture the food? How the cell will take the food? Cell will take the food by keeping the food in a vacuoles, and those vacuoles are called as those are vacuoles. Vacuoles. Cell will store food material in the vacuole. That is what I'm telling. Okay, it is like a tiny stomach to the cell. Within this vacuole, the cell will temporarily stores the carbohydrates or any food material. Now, after storing this food material in the vacuoles of the cell, so vacuoles means they are the tiny air pockets.
Excuse me, sir.
Air pockets in the cell. Yes, yes, Miss. Yes. Yes. What's your doubt, student? Can I continue?
सर कोई मीटिंग से रिमूव कर रहा है.
Okay. Next time I will change the settings, Tripti. See, students, I can see who is removing in the attendance list. Okay, don't make such bad things. See, I'm here to teach you, not to monitor your sheets. Okay, please don't do like that hereafter. I have a good respect on first year students. Don't lose that, please. Okay, so coming to the vacuoles. So vacuoles will store the food material. Okay, now after storing food material, students, not only food material, sometimes any microorganisms will also be stored in this vacuole. Okay, no need microorganisms. Let us keep food only. Foods such as starch, carbohydrates. So now carbohydrates present in a vacuole. Now these carbohydrates need to be digested by the cell. These carbohydrates must be digested. And who will digest those carbohydrates? How the cell will digest the carbohydrates? Yes, we know that carbohydrates present in the vacuole, in the food vacuole. Now, how we will digest those material in the vacuole? Now, this vacuole will fuse with a structures called lysosomes. These lysosomes will have the digestive juices. These lysosomes will digest the food material. These lysosomes will fuse with the food vacuoles. Then they will digest the carbohydrates and they will provide energy. Those digested materials will be diverted to the mitochondria, and mitochondria will produce the energy. So that is the significance of the lysosomes. Lysosomes will digest the food materials in the vacuole. Lysosomes will fuse themselves to the food vacuole and they will digest the foreign material or the food material. That is the role of the lysosomes. Lysosomes will digest the food materials. They will fuse with the food vacuoles and they will digest the foreign materials or any food materials. That is the significance of lysosomes. I hope it is clear. Then the next important organelle in the cell will be ribosomes. What is the role of these ribosomes? What is the significance of these ribosomes? Keep in mind,
Synthesis of
students.
protein, no?
Synthesis.
Yes, ribosomes will synthesize the proteins. Ribosomes will produce the proteins. Now, how these ribosomes producing the proteins? Can anyone give examples of protein, students? Actually, each and everything in our body is made up of proteins. Or I will say a very basic definition. Proteins will give the structure to the anything. Any structure containing material in our body is made up of proteins. It can be antibodies, it can be protein, it can be hormones, it can be cell receptors, it can be anything. Everything is made up of proteins. Whatever, whoever having structure, that structure was provided by the proteins. I will give one example now. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein which is present in what cells? Hemoglobin present in what cells, students? Can anyone tell me?
RBCs.
RBC.
Red blood
RBC.
cells. Very good.
Blood.
Very good. Yes.
RBC.
Hemoglobin present in the red blood cells. Now, how this hemoglobin produced by a red blood cell? Let us assume that this cell is a red blood cell. Now, let us see. Hemoglobin has a specific structure. Hemoglobin has a specific shape.
So globular.
How the ribosome came to know the shape of a hemoglobin? Hemoglobin will have four chains, alpha chains, two alpha chains and two beta chains, and it will become a hemoglobin. Now, how ribosome came to know that shape? Who given instructions to the ribosome to produce hemoglobin protein? How ribosome came to know about the shape of a hemoglobin protein? That instructions are present in the DNA actually. That is why we have DNA. DNA will have the information to produce each and everything in our body. DNA will have all the information. Now, in one particular DNA, maybe in the chromosome 12, in the 12th chromosome, it may have the, it has the DNA. In that DNA, it has the hemoglobin information. Now, what will happen is, listen carefully, the 12th chromosome DNA will be unwinded. That DNA, you know that DNA is a double helical structure. I don't know
Yes,
whether
sir.
I can remove this or not. I hope you can. Actually, you know that DNA is a double helical structure. It will unwind that now.
Yes,
It
sir.
will unwind. After unwinding, we will cut the portion of DNA where we have the hemoglobin information. It will unwind and it will cut the hemoglobin containing information in the DNA. Now it will become a single stranded genetic material. And that single stranded genetic material is called as RNA. We cutted the hemoglobin DNA, the information where we have hemoglobin. Now we got a single stranded DNA that is called RNA. Now this RNA need to be sent to the ribosome to produce the protein. Now we need to send this RNA to the ribosome. For that, we have a specific RNA called transfer RNA. This transfer RNA, very good. This transfer RNA will transfer this RNA from the nucleus to the ribosome. Now, this transfer RNA will transfer this DNA into the outside the cytoplasm. After going outside the cytoplasm, this RNA need to send to the ribosome. In the ribosome, it has a specified, a modified RNA called messenger RNA. This messenger RNA will take the message from the DNA's RNA and it will convert this message to something that a ribosome can understand. I'm telling again, we have DNA. DNA became a single stranded RNA. This RNA will come outside the nucleus by a transfer RNA. After coming outside the nucleus by transfer RNA, now this RNA will bind with messenger RNA. This messenger RNA will bind with a ribosome. This messenger RNA will bind with a ribosome. Now this messenger RNA will tell the ribosome to produce a protein. Literally, it will three base pairs will make a single amino acid. So a messenger RNA will make amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Okay. Now it will happen like this. I will tell. Wait. Now we have the ribosome. Ribosome will start synthesizing the protein like this. So you can feel this wire like a protein. So now ribosome will make a protein, a hemoglobin protein. But there is a problem with this protein. It is just a single thread. Ribosome made a thread, but there is no shape. There is no shape of a hemoglobin shape. Now who will give shape to the protein? Ribosome done its job. Ribosome prepared a protein, but there is no shape to the protein. Will you agree with me? Do you got my point?
Yes.
Ribosome prepared the
Yes,
protein,
sir.
but protein does not have a shape. I need to convert this protein to this shape. Then only it will become a functional protein. How to give shape to a protein is my next.
So amino acids will, no sir.
Amino acids, actually
The
amino acids.
Golgi bodies.
Okay, I will tell. Amino acids will make a thread. That's it. Amino acids will make a protein, a peptide, a peptide protein. But this protein needs a shape. Now, listen to me. This thread will be sent to a special organelle. I think someone said right now. This protein will send to a
Golgi
specialist. Very good. Golgi apparatus. We will send this to a Golgi apparatus. Now, what Golgi apparatus do is, you can feel Golgi apparatus like this, like my hand. Now, this protein will go through this Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus will have many folds. When this protein going through the Golgi apparatus like this, it will twist itself. After twisting, if you remove like this, it will get its shape. It will get its final shape. Okay, like this. Maybe this is the shape of a hemoglobin. So Golgi apparatus will give the shape to the proteins. That is the function of the Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus will give the shape to the proteins, or they used to say that proteins will mature in the Golgi apparatus. Proteins will mature in the Golgi apparatus. That is the function of the Golgi apparatus. Now, our Golgi apparatus done excellent job at giving shape to the proteins. Now, we need to preserve, or we need to store these proteins in the cell. We need to preserve these proteins in the cell. For that, cell has racks. Cell has racks to store these proteins. And those racks are called as, can anyone guess the name of those racks?
Endoplasmic reticulum.
Very good.
Endoplasmic reticulum.
Endoplasmic reticulum. So these proteins will be stored in the endoplasmic reticulum. So the function of endoplasmic reticulum is to store the proteins that are synthesized by the cell. Now we have two types of endoplasmic reticulum. For example, if my rack is full, then it is called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. If my rack is empty, then it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. That's it.
Endoplasmic reticulum.
Yes. Absence of ribosomes or absence of proteins is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Presence of more ribosomes or more proteins is rough endoplasmic reticulum. That is the function of the endoplasmic reticulum. And what else we have in the cell organelles? Let me see the picture. Yeah, I think we have covered each and everything of a cell organelles. And we have similarly like lysosomes, we have one more enzymes in the cytoplasm called peroxisomes. Lysosome will destroy the or it will digest the food material. Lysosomes will digest the food material, whereas peroxisomes will digest the pathogens. They will digest microorganisms. That is the major difference between lysosome and the peroxisomes. So these are the major organelles of a cell. So now let us do a quick review of cell structure and cell organelles. So we have, can anyone say what is the role of mitochondria? What is the role of mitochondria?
Providing energy.
Powerhouse.
Yes, powerhouse of cell. It produces the yes. I will give you some additional information. Mitochondria will undergo a cell cycle called Krebs cycle. Only with the help of this Krebs cycle, we will get 32 ATP. Okay, Krebs cycle happens in mitochondria, whereas glycolysis will happen in the cytoplasm of the cell. Very good. Then what is the role of ribosomes?
Synthesis of protein.
Synthesis of protein.
Synthesis
What
of
is the-
protein.
Very good. What is the role of vacuole?
So storing of food.
Food. Very good. What is the, very good. What is the role of Golgi apparatus?
Giving shape to the protein.
Yes, to give shape to the proteins, for maturation of proteins.
Shape.
What is the role of microfilament?
But
What is the role of
Give the
microfilaments?
structure of cell.
Structure of cell. It will give the structure of the cell, and also it will act like a. I want to tell one thing. Matrix. It will
Locomotion.
act like a matrix. Matrix means it will act like a structure. In this matrix only we can keep all the organelles. Okay. Then what is the role of smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Actually, smooth and rough endoplasm to support ribosomes, okay, to store the proteins and ribosomes.
yes,
Then,
sir.
yeah, that's it. Now, in your Shambulingam textbook, Shambulingam Essentials of Medical Physiology textbook, it has a very beautiful table. I will show you that table. If you memorize that table, that's it. That is all about the cell. I will show you that table. So this is the table, students. I want each and every one of you to memorize this table if possible. Okay, so now I will tell the same story in this table. So we have rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum function is to synthesize proteins and for degrading of worn out granules, whereas smooth endoplasmic reticulum synthesizes not only proteins, it will also synthesize lipids and steroids. Okay, so in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we can synthesize lipids and steroids, and it also involves in cellular metabolism. It will act as a storage and metabolism of calcium. Okay, so calcium, lipids, and steroids will be stored in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Very good. And also detoxification happens in smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Catabolism and detoxification will happen in smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So these are the functions of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Then coming to the Golgi apparatus will process, package, label, and delivery of proteins and lipids. It will process the proteins, it will package the proteins, it will label the proteins, and it will deliver the proteins whenever we require. So that is the role of Golgi apparatus. I have tell in a I said in a simple statement. Here they have elaborated it. That's it. You know, we can say where is nose means here, and we can also say nose is here. Both are same. Okay. Next is lysosomes. So the role of lysosomes is to degeneration of macromolecules, that means food materials, degeneration of worn out cell organelles. Sometimes some cell organelles will be destroyed, students. Those cell organelles will be removed by lysosomes. Removal of excess of secretory products, and also secretion of performins, granzymes, melanin and serotonin. These are some specific enzymes for various metabolic activities in our body. Performins are required for some pathways. Okay, granzymes, melanin is required for synthesis of body color, the skin color, and serotonin is a powerful vasorepressor. That means it will cause vasodilation. Okay,
Vasodilation.
yeah, vasodilation happens by, that means the enlargement of blood vessels happens by serotonin. All these are produced by the lysosomes. Whereas peroxisomes, in a nutshell, peroxisomes will kill the microorganisms. Peroxisomes will destroy the metabolic waste products by peroxisomes. Then centrosomes means, okay, I forgot this one. Okay, students. Okay, in the nucleus, students, it has two polar bodies. In these polar bodies, it has something called centrioles or centrosomes. Okay, how many of you remember the cell division? During the cell division, we have four phases: anaphase, metaphase, telophase, PMAT, prophase, anaphase, metaphase, and telophase.
Yes, sir.
At that time, these chromosomes will migrate to the poles of the cell. That chromosome migration, the migration of chromosomes is facilitated by these centrosomes. Centrosomes will facilitate the movement of chromosomes during cell division. That is also a part of cell organelle. Okay, centrosomes will facilitate the movement of chromosomes. Then mitochondria, I need not to say much. It will produce energy, it will synthesize ATP, and also mitochondria involved in apoptosis. Can anyone say what is apoptosis means? Do you have any idea, students? What is apoptosis? Any idea about apoptosis?
Related to cell.
Related to
Cell
cell.
death.
Breakdown of cells, sir.
Very good. Related to cell death. It is called as cyclic cell death, okay, foreground cell death. Sometimes students, sometimes what happens is I may have excess cells. My skin may produce excess cells and I don't require those excess cells. If those excess cells are within the blood vessel, game over. My blood flow will be stopped and I will die. So sometimes our body have the mechanism of killing its own cells if it is not required. How it will kill the cells means very simple. It will shut down the mitochondria. It will remove the batteries. If you remove the battery, the cell will die. So cyclic cell death or foreground cell death is also mediated by mitochondria. Obviously, you can understand why. Because mitochondria giving the energy to the cell. If you shut down the mitochondria, the cell will dead. So initiation of apoptosis is also triggered by mitochondria. That's it. Then ribosomes, I need not to say much. Ribosomes will synthesize the proteins. Cytoskeleton. This cytoskeleton is composed of microfilament, students. Sometimes microfilament is stated as cytoskeleton also. So microfilaments will give the shape of the cell. It will give stability of the cell shape, and also it will enhance the cellular movements. So cellular movements, stability of cell shape, and the shape of the cell was given by the cytoskeleton, aka also known as the microfilaments of the cell. Last and final is nucleus. I need not to say much about nucleus. It will control the cell division. It will have the all activities of the cell. It will synthesize the RNA. It has the genetic instructions for production of proteins. It will also utilize as subunits of production of ribosomes. So this is all about the cell and cell organelles and their functions. That's it. I think this is all about the cell, students. I hope the concept is very clear for you. In my next lecture, I will go with the cell division, mitosis, meiosis. Then I will go with tissues, different types of tissues, and I will start epithelial tissue in detail. So I will do a quick revision of today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we discussed about the we discussed about the organization of life, where we discussed about the cells, tissues, organs, organ system, and organs. Then we have discussed about various types of cells in human body, and we discussed about two major two cells, which is the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and we discussed the differences by the mnemonic DORA. Then we discussed about the types of cells in our body. Then we discussed about the structure of cell and cell organelles and their functions in detail. So we have nucleus and cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, it has cell organelles and those functions we discussed. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. In next lecture, we will discuss about the tissues and cell division. Can I end this class? Is it clear for everyone? Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much. I know I took 7 more minutes for you. Anyway, thank you very much, students. Let me download the attendance. Okay, see you, students. See you in my next class on Monday. I think Tuesday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
see you.
sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, students. I'm ending this session.